Happy New Year, Mauricio Alonso.
Happy New Year, my friend. Thank you to have me here on your podcast. Pretty nice.
Hey, man, it's a pleasure. I've wanted to have you on for a while, so I'm glad we finally have the time. It's the holidays, and
Oh, yeah.
I think we're the type of people that don't really take many vacations. So
No.
We got some pretty big news. We were both kind of scheduled to be over at Fight to Win Pro.
Yes.
Some stuff has changed. Can we talk a little bit about that?
Yes, we can. Now we can. There's already everything set. I was about to fight Train in San Jose, but then some surprise came for me. A big surprise. I was trying to get on Bellator card in San Jose on February 18. They offered me a fight before, but the opponent that they offered me trained at CSA too, and I'm training there now for my fights with Coach Kirian. That's another news about my career. I'm going to train at CSA now for good. And then, as James is a wrestling coach in there, so it was impossible for me and him to fight at this opportunity. So we're supposed to fight before and never happened. I think now I can see the reason. We're gonna be training partners, and that's God. Do everything for some reason. And then I was waiting, maybe another opponent for an undercard on Bellator, but they come for me with a big surprise. So a lot of people gonna hear this news and say, "Oh, Mauricio Alonso gonna be fighting Josh Koshcheck on Bellator, February 18." And they've been wow. Some people, oh wow, yeah, the same reaction that you have, I had. Oh wow, because it's a good opportunity. People that maybe never heard about me, don't know me. I trained jiu-jitsu about 20 years. So February 17, 2017, gonna be exactly 20 years I'm on jiu-jitsu world. MMA, I fight MMA since 2005.
And you've got more than 20 fights.
I'm going to my 21st professional fight.
Yep.
So my record is 12-7 and 1 no contest. So on my 7 losses, I have 1 submission I lost. The other fights always by decision. I never get knocked out. I never got out of a fight. I tap one time to Zach Bussian on the 4th round for a title shot in Dragon House. And I was winning the fight. But shit happens. You step over the shit and keep moving forward. And I'm really, really happy with this opportunity. It's a surprise the time that fight came for me, but I'm not surprised about my deserve. If I deserve my fight, I deserve this fight.
Absolutely, man.
I earn it. I'm coming from two wins in a row, and against Nick Pick at Bellator was a controversial result. I took a point in the 2nd round. He called a kick on the balls, but that wasn't. He rested for 10 minutes. 3rd round, he was pretty tired. He's a tough fighter, a tough kid, but if he didn't recover that, so I lost by decision for him and for Raul Castillo. That was 2 bullshit decisions. Tell you the truth, but to speak clearly the truth. And who was there watching and saw that. So I don't need, the fights are in YouTube. If you want to question that, go watch that shit, and that's it. And then they came with me to Josh Koshcheck. Beautiful. I'm ready for it. I'm excited about it. And it's a big name, man. I have respect him as the history of he has on MMA.
Sure.
He's a tough fighter, and some people already come to me, oh, he's not the same, he's in that. I don't give a fuck if he's not the same. I don't care. I will train, and I'm already training for the best Koshcheck ever. You know, and I will never underestimate my opponent. I never did it, and I will never gonna do it, because that's not smart as a fighter.
No, everybody goes out as professionals, and I agree. Going out there and preparing for the best version of Josh.
Of course.
Because after he's coming off of a couple losses right now, and at this point in his career, I'm pretty sure he's going to want to be the best version of himself. So to expect anything less than that would be like a big disservice to you and your team. So That's an awesome opportunity. Since we're all in the Bay Area, you've been here a long time now, and probably I don't know if Josh.
6 years I'm here in Bay Area.
All right, so Josh,
2011 I moved to here, February 2011.
So I know Josh has been here at least as long as he was, since the first Ultimate Fighter, but I'm not sure if he was born here or not. But so have you guys crossed paths in terms of like maybe jiu-jitsu or just even training together for any reason?
No, we never crossed paths, man. We never trained together. I never see him in my life personally. I just watch his fights, admire him as a fighter. Really, really tough fighter. Have a very good knockout power, excellent wrestler. And that's what I'm getting for it. Getting ready for it.
Yeah, he tends to have a very strong wrestling base, but he was one of those guys for a while that even though he was a very strong wrestler, he kind of went the way of a lot of guys do, where they want to really strike, because I think at the time in MMA and the UFC, like bonuses were really more given out based on it was knockout of the night, which is now performance of the night.
Exactly.
So a lot of strikers wrestlers or grapplers sort of shied away from their bread and butter and went towards the pure striking, which we kind of saw last night with Ronda Rousey and Amanda Nunes.
Yes, man, that was a fight that was not a surprise what would be happening, and Ronda is really unidimensional. She's really good grappler. She's like when people talk about Ronda Rousey. And it's funny because when you talk something bad about her game plan or about her techniques or her skills, and a lot of people, oh fuck this, she's a star and this and that too. I'm not contesting that. I'm not judging that. I'm just telling she's an amazing athlete. She's an Olympian medalist. To be in an Olympic level and have a medal, a bronze medal or silver medal, I don't know what it was. But to be on the podium in Olympics is a big deal, and you have to be a fucking highest level athlete in the world to you be only on the Olympics. Getting a medal on the Olympics is another level. So she get it. She went to MMA. She did very nice fights with her game. But the game developed, and she didn't develop it with the game. She didn't learn new stuff. So she saw all her fights. She go there, do the mean face, and come straight and try to bully the girls, clinch with them, throw them, and armbar them. So the last two fights that she had, she got a well-rounded fighter. Rolly Holm is a well-rounded striker, man. And it was pretty clear that she would be patient, to pace, to tag Ronda, and that's what she did. And looks like it's guaranteed, and it's proven yesterday that she didn't get better 1 inch that she was before. She came with the same posture, with the same game, get her ass whooped like I knew she would be if she. I was the people said, man, why do you think that? Man, maybe I'm wrong. Maybe she changed it a lot. She learned it. But man, you see her doing boxing and stuff, my friend. Hit meets very nice for the TV. It's very easy. My son can do that with 12 years old if I teach him, and he gonna look like a best boxer in the world. When you put your gloves on, when you enter there and you face another girl, another man, another opponent, they're gonna throw everything she can or he can in your face. Is a lot of difference. Is a big different scenario,
Absolutely. I mean, if you take somebody and you do the bag work, the mitt work, shadow boxing, whatever, and even just drilling back and forth to the partner, somebody you work out with at the gym, until you're put in that situation under pressure, when fear kicks in, right?
Yep.
And what I saw, first of all, a lot of people are piling on with her coach. Basically, Amanda made this statement in the cage afterwards that he's, when she's doing all this thing, like she's saying, be quiet. You're trying to say like you're this boxer, but no, you're a tremendous judo athlete.
Yes.
And a very accomplished MMA person. She's done so much for the sport, for women in sports.
We are not contesting that. People need to understand when we talk about Ronda, I admire her as athlete, I don't know as a person, but as athlete, she was a great athlete. Judoka, completely. For MMA, she did a lot of her sport. She was a big image. UFC too was really smart to get a looking good girl like her and talented and with balls to do what she did. But if she develop it in the sport, better her striking techniques. I don't know, found a new coach or not. That's not up to me to talk or to judge. It's up to what I see. Maybe she what she needs to do, she didn't do. She didn't get better her strike, her footwork was sloppy, the way she walk on the cage is ridiculous, her guard is ridiculous, her punts are ridiculous, her grappling is amazing. But for an MMA fighter on the level the game is today, you know, or you develop it or you're gonna get behind pretty quick, like is what is happening to her, you know. People say a lot of mind stuff or mental shit or this and that or mindset or this and that. All fighters around the fucking world, they gonna have questionaments and fear and hesitation and lack of confidence for some time, for some way or somehow. We're gonna have it. The thing is, when you lock yourself inside the cage, is really clear that who can control that emotions, who can control that feelings better, will perform better. Performing better, you can win. The probability that you win is bigger. And that's the game. You know, I'm going to my big fight now. I never been on a stage like that on this kind of magnitude. For me, it's new. I fought on Bellator before, on the undercard. It was amazing. I was on SAP. Like, my fight was right after Tito Ortiz fight.
Oh, nice.
So it was the stage was fucking packed, like 15,000, 16,000 people. So that magnitude of show is really nice to be. But now I'm gonna be there not only in a magnitude of that show, but the exposure of myself I'm gonna have now is much bigger. It's a different level that I used to. Make sense? And I have to deal with that really smart. I have to deal with that really serious, really intelligent.
Absolutely. I mean, it's television time. You know, on the Tito Ortiz card, this is one of the, so this is like the post limbs, right? So
yes.
So they cut camera. I mean, they're still filming it,
Yep.
but like it's not going to be like live on Spike or pay-per-view, for example.
No.
Versus this is prime time. But yeah, the performance under pressure and, you know, willpower overcoming fear, like these very basic primitive emotions.
Exactly.
And yeah, what I saw with Ronda was the first shot Amanda connected on, it looked like you see the way her eyes, like the expression, the emotion in her
Yep.
face change, her posture and her spine changed, like she's back on her heels. I don't know if it rocked her or it just put her back into that place where she's questioning herself back in that the Holly Holm fight.
Yep.
And that loss was devastating for her. You see her going on Ellen DeGeneres and talking, you know, pretty deep stuff. You know, she seemed like she was in a very bad depression, and it looked like PTSD, like the post-traumatic stress something. And I'm not a psychologist, but you can see the look and the composure change.
I could see on her official waiting, she was really uncomfortable. Her body language was different. I try to study a lot because I have a sports psychologist that worked with me for several years. And I study a lot of this body language, you know. So your body, the way you posture your body, the way you move your body, the way you position your body, that means a lot. So she was positioning her body, even the way doing her pose, she was not external. She was intrinsic. Her eyes were more not, she was uncomfortable to be there. I'm not going to tell scared because everybody's scared, my friend. Don't come tell me that if you ask John Jones if he's scared to fight, if he tell I don't scare, he's a fucking liar. Everybody that put a 4 ounces glove in your hand and go to a fight on that magnitude, of course you get scary. And then you're going to get that control of your emotions. That's why you're going to do it. It's not you're going to feel it. You're going to feel it and you're going to control it. When you control it, you can see your vision is better. I think that's what she's missing. She cannot control that emotion of fear anymore.
Yeah, I don't know that she's, I mean, look, they thrust her into this superstar position that we hadn't seen in the sport. I mean, besides Conor, who's there now, Ronda was there first and making such a big deal out of it. And you can argue it was Chuck before that or Tito or Ken or anybody like that.
Yep.
But the number of eyes watching the UFC, the number of mass media outlets, NBC, Fox, you know, ESPN as a UFC show, this is like a whole other level. And then she's a movie star and everybody around her is telling her how great she is and she's got millions of dollars, whatever. And then you know, to face that kind of defeat, all of a sudden it's just, and then to have to go back to whatever those feelings were. And you look at the way she was raised. I mean, before we started recording, we were talking a lot about the way a lot of kids are raised now.
Yeah.
And she had a very unique upbringing, with her mother being very, you know, telling her that she can do any job she wants, but the only thing, she has to be the best in the world at it.
Yeah.
And being pushed from like that young age, like the expectation like that. So yeah, I'm not surprised I'm not surprised by the performance. Amanda's scary.
Yeah. She is a great fighter, man. I think she will dominate this division for a while. I don't see any girl in that division now ready or able to defeat her. One girl that I believe now gonna be the next champion 145 is Germaine, and she didn't give a chance to Germaine. And Germaine, for me, one of the baddest girls on the planet. We worked together here for almost 2 years. She's a really amazing person. I really like her, not only as a fighter but as a person. Her character, her dignity, the way she faces the stuff. We talk sometimes. And she's an amazing person. I like and I respect her a lot. So for me, is a happiness to see she getting there and fighting for a title with Holly Holm. And I think if Holly tries strike with her, she's gonna get demolished. Germaine, my friend, as a Muay Thai fighter, she is 50-0. She never lost. She don't know what is lost in a MMA, in a Muay Thai fight. She fought boxing with men and she knocked out men. So if any girl on the UFC, and I tell them that's including Chris Cyborg, that is my friend, I like her, I fucking great fighter. If Cyborg tries stand with Germaine knock her out.
More crisp, just is the technique
there. The technique of Germaine is so impressive. Everything she throws is perfect, in a good posture, in a good balance, and with power. I spar with her before, sometimes, and it's like I spar with a guy. It's not a spar. You are not sparring with a lady. You are sparring with an Iron Lady. The Iron Lady is sinister.
She walks around what, like 165 or something, 160?
She fights 145. I believe she walk around 160, 165, no more than that. She's tall, but she's skinny. She's a lank, you know.
Because I know Chris, I see the size of her, and when people are saying, oh, Ronda Rousey or Chris Cyborg, I mean, Ronda Rousey's...
No, thanks God Ronda Rousey never fought Cyborg before, because if she fight there back in the day when they were complaining, oh, this and that, but she would get murdered before. And murdered the worst, maybe worse than she got murdered these last 2 times, man. Yeah,
no, for sure. Cyborg, people don't realize, first of all, the size difference, and not just that she's walking around with like an 8-pack of abs at all times, and she has to weigh like 170.
Yep.
She's not much smaller than either one of us.
Nope.
I've got pictures of me standing next to Cyborg. I spent a lot of time with her. She's first of all, she's like the sweetest person in the world.
Yes, she is an amazing person. Cyborg is she's a really hard worker, man.
Yeah.
She's a really hard worker. She deserves where she is now, and she deserves more. She deserves to fight for this title 145. She deserves to be at the top. And imagine, for me, it's gonna be amazing and it's gonna be hard, because imagine Germaine versus Chris. I know both of them, and I admire both of them, and you know, so is you're gonna be hard. But for now, I'm 100% Germaine against Holly Holm, and I think she will knock her out and gonna be beautiful.
Yeah, I'm not sure how Holly is gonna deal with the kicks, for example.
Yep. No, Holly's smart. She's a world kicking boxing champion. You know, Holly Holm. She's a boxing world champion, I think 3 times. She is world kickboxing champion. Holly Holm is a well-rounded fighter. But for what I see, her technique is really good. But Germaine techniques and Germaine power overcome Holly Holm. The vision that Germaine has, I really believe the understanding of the striking and the contundence that she throw her strikings are really much more contundent and aggressive. And her defense is pretty solid. It's hard to hit her clean. You know, it's harder to hurt her. You know, and she has a chin like a 170-pounder man.
Man, I've been waiting for a 145 division in the UFC for a while, and we've been relying on Invicta for this, which they've been doing a great job, sort of
build the MMA for girls.
Yeah.
I think they are giving a lot of opportunities. I have Amber Marie that trains at CSA now too. She's a very nice lady. She's fighting at Invicta, and she trained at CSA also. And I think what Invicta is doing for the girls MMA is really nice, and that exposure, like Fight Pass and all this stuff, is amazing for them, and they deserve it. A lot of girls are really badasses here. A lot of girls deserve to go to the big spotlight and be on the big stage, and that's is happening already.
When are we gonna see real competition for Gabby?
For who?
Gabby Garcia. Are there women?
When they find another girl of her size, man.
That's what I'm saying.
Fuck, she's too big, man. She's too big. She weighed, I don't know, 200 and something pounds on the weighting. She's bigger than me.
She's much bigger.
So she's bigger than us together, man.
Yeah, for sure.
So, and then they said, but which girl in the world gonna look at that and gonna say, hey, I'm gonna fight that chick? Porra, you need a lot of disposition and balls to do that. Only to face another person of that size. It's scary, man.
Yeah.
And the thing is, in the end of the day, who they found to fight her? Someone that don't have nothing to lose. The girls are gonna be there, okay, gonna make, I don't know, a lot of money to fight her. The Japanese gonna give, okay, gonna give 100K here, go there, get your ass up, and that's okay. And they are building her, and they are building her the same way they build every fighter that show have interest into build. You know what I mean? Throwing chickens, and feeding the lion. Maybe that's what I want to try to do with me, but I'm a very indigestible food, my friend.
Yeah, no, there's a big difference between the people she's going against and you, man.
Okay.
I watched the fight. Did you see her fight in Ryzen last night?
I didn't lose my time watching that, man.
When I
watch her fights, for me, so I admire her as an athlete, like I say, man. I don't gonna lose time watching her fights. I'm gonna de-learn maybe.
I think it was even shorter than the Ronda fight. Yeah. Well, first of all, like, she's getting better.
Yeah, of course.
The striking's definitely getting better.
Of course, man. She will get better. She trained Rafael Cordeiro. Rafael Cordeiro is a good Muay Thai coach. He's a really decent coach. He's gonna make her stand up much better. She will getting better. She is getting better, but she has a long road to be at the level of striking that she needs to be to stand there and show everybody, oh, now she's doing good. And she has, she is really capable to do that. She's a natural athlete, and she's a really, really dedicated athlete. You can tell that for her results at jiu-jitsu and for the driven that she says on her training and the body change that she has. So she's really determined, girl. I really wish she get better and better.
Yeah, it's just down to finding competition for her. She threw some knee strikes at their opponent last night, and I couldn't tell you the opponent's name. I just don't know.
Okay.
The only person I know she fought was like a ex-pro wrestler, Lady Tapa, like this big Samoan woman.
Yeah.
But last night she threw a straight knee strike to the sternum, right to the midsection of this woman, and just crumbled. I cringe watching it. I don't want to get hit by that knee.
I got it.
So it's getting more and more crisp, but she was able to just push the woman back with just like small strikes, and it moved her across the ring. I mean, she ran the first time she got hit by Gabby, like, away, because the size difference was sick.
So this looks like old style MMA when they throw a big guy and a small guy.
Bob Sapp
against Minoa.
Oh, that's right. Or who was the guy? They had like Akibono in there or something.
Akibono. So that they are good on their martial art. They are good wrestlers, good sumo fighters. But MMA is a completely different world, man. It's a completely different mentality.
So yeah, you'd basically need to find a woman that's in the 240-pound range that has the reach, because Gabby's like 6'3" or something.
Yeah, she's big.
And you see like the cut, the muscle definition, like the thighs on her. She's not just a tall girl or something.
No,
and
she's a tall girl, and she's a specimen.
Yeah,
she's not an average person. She's on top on the predator list, for what her size and with her strength. To find someone to face that, man, another big girl like her, or, but it's not easy to find a girl with good skills to face her. Maybe same size, but not the same skills. Same skills, but not the same size. To match everything is gonna be hard. Yeah, especially because MMA for girls is growing now, is starting now. Oh, even around the rounds, other stuff. The publicity on girls is still small. The only big one was Ronda. After Ronda, you don't see any girl very on the media and commercials and all that stuff, because she was pushed to do that.
Yeah, she's the one. Before that, who did they try? They tried it with Gina Carano.
Yes,
and that was fine. But she went right to movies as soon as she suffered her her big loss.
Yeah, to Cyborg.
Yeah, Cyborg tuned her up, and then since then you had Ronda Rousey was the next kind of heir to that throne, and they moved her right into the UFC. It was like Dana's like, there'll never be a women's division.
So
and
I don't listen. You see, as a fighter, if they ask me who is better fighter, who is a more fighter, Ronda or Misha? Misha. Even lost him for her two, 3 times. I don't know.
The losses were emotion.
But emotion, and you see, so that girl went there. She got her hurt losses, painful losses. She went back. She fought again and fought again, and got her title, lost her title, and retired. So what that proves me? So what she wanna do? I wanna be champion. But I lost. Fuck it. I will train more. I lost again. Fuck off. I will train more and I will get there. And she got it. But it was not a Rousey. Fuck it.
It's the UFC title, not the Ronda Rousey title.
Exactly.
You get the belt. And there's Anderson Silva held his title for years. But Michael Bisping's champion now. Would he have beat Anderson Silva when he was on his stride? No.
Yeah. No.
But this guy stuck with it.
Yeah.
He grinded it out, and I was not. I've never been a big fan of Michael Bisping. I just never was really a big fan of his style, the things he would say.
Mm-hmm.
But his determination and that he hasn't given up, and he just hasn't made it to the top, and then he finally makes it.
Yeah. So it's these guys are a good example for what I'm living on my life now.
Yeah.
So I'm going to my 21st professional fight. And for the first time in 20 years doing this, I'm having an exposure of that. For some reason, God put me in this situation. And if he put me here after all this time and after all these years, I have a reason for that to happen, and I will give the best I can, man. The everything I have to enter on that cage and fight beautifully. Winning, losing, or draw, I will stand up there like I always do, man. Like a man, respectful, serious, and do my job. And see what's gonna happen after. People say, after that, I don't know what the fucking gonna happen there. How I gonna think about something after? Right? What I can do is put all my energy on that night, February 18. That's a dream coming true for me. Fight at the same card as Fedor.
Yeah,
man, I was 20 years old, purple belt. 2019, I was watching my coach Ryan fight on Pride. And my dream was fight in Japan on Pride. I thought, fuck, I want to fight there. I want to be there. I was 20 years, 21 years, 2000, 2001, 2002, until Pride got extinguished. And now I'm going to fight in the same card of the legend.
Yeah.
Not only on the same card.
Main card.
On the main card.
On TV.
On TV for a whole world. It's a magnitude of fight I never had before. And I'm realistic with that. Yeah. There's people maybe get a same chance and think they get where they want to be. No, I get opportunity now to be where I belong. I have opportunity to create a big moment on my life. I don't have that moment still.
It's exciting.
I have opportunity to create that wonderful moment for me. So and I'm going to live this and I'm going to enjoy every single second of this with a lot of seriousness like I always do. Hard work, determination, And I really hope work hard to after this fight, people know who I am.
Oh, for sure they're going to. Josh is legitimately famous in this sport. I mean, his sort of Ultimate Fighter run and his UFC run after that. I mean, people know that bleached hair, man. They know that guy. He's
exactly
the antics and the performance.
He is a character, man. He make history on MMA. So he'll be fighting a man well-rounded, the toughest opponent of my life. You know, and that's a big motivation for me. You know,
absolutely. And I think in the past, a lot of people were under the idea that, once 30 happens, like, masters, like they do in some sports, jiu-jitsu, whatever. But then there's some, maybe not exceptions to the rule. Maybe there's people that just their development and their emotional maturity and their character as a man, as a person, just sort of is where it is at that a little bit further than 30. Like Fight Cavallo, look at Fabricio Verdum.
Yep.
Who would have thought this guy, 37 years old, is going to be the best in the world at 37? The best version of himself is going to go and take out somebody that a lot of people didn't see losing any fights.
Yep.
So who thought Kane was going to lose? Really?
Or Fedor.
And when these guys were on their tears at the height of Fedor, at the height of Cain Velasquez, when Fabricio Verdum was kind of having a hard time in the UFC.
Yes.
For him, it was Cigano that first fight, right?
Yep.
To see that version of him. And
then he lost for Arlovski. That fight was a really boring fight. And then the guy, he didn't quit. I think one word and one mentality that every fighter, special fighters, every profession, but in special fighters, you will want to quit. You will think about to quit several times. Some days, maybe before a fight, you're going to question yourself, why am I doing this shit again? But some way, somehow, something still driving yourself to go there and do it. That has happened to me a lot. Oh wow, I have 20 fights. So how many times on those 20 fights I lost? How many times I lost and get sad and I think I'm done with this shit? Several times, right? Like every human being on the same situation. Their thoughts come for everyone's mind.
Yes.
That's naturally. Some people listen to their thoughts and say, oh yeah, my thoughts are right. Good. Some people listen to their thoughts and say, fuck you. I was still on the road. I did that several times. And I having a big chance with 36 years old. And like I said, I'm feeling really fresh. No injuries, nothing hurt. My weight is good. My mentality, my calmness. And with 36 years old, I think what happened with me, myself in specifically, I have a lack of MMA competition about 4 years. And maybe between 2007 to 2010, 2011, almost 2000, I fought 2 times. From 2007 to 2010, I fought 1 time. To 2010 to 2012, 2011, almost 2012, no fights. 1 fight. That lack of training, because I was hurt, I have a surgeries on my knee. I have 2 surgeries on my knee already. That time off, that year off, and that year and a half that I took looks like preserve my body. I don't beat up my body too bad. So I think my body can last longer now. So maybe have some guys, have a lot of fighters that have their peak at 20s, 25, 27. I really feel my peak as a fighter started 2 years ago. Because was when I start really understanding more, complete my game. I get my rest a little bit better. I get my Muay Thai, my striking, my boxing much better. My vision, my understanding about fighting. I study a lot fighting. I study fighters. I study Like anything you're gonna do in your life, I like to study fighters' reactions when they get tagged. I like to study fighter reactions when they tag someone. Some guys are go to kill, desperated, and got caught on the counter. Some guys are really smart. They tag the opponent, and they know they have it on their hands, and they pace and they finish on the right timing. Or guys that get tagged and go to brawl, because a lot of times, and this is a reaction that happened to me before, to have a kind of flash knockdown. It's not really a knockdown, it's a flash knockdown. You kind of fall on your knees and go back. And you are there already. But basically, you are there, but you are not.
Sure.
And a lot of guys, when that happened, they took the knee and they go back, they go to brawl. They go to exchange to show their opponent they are okay. And then it was where they get knocked out. So when it happened that with me, boom, I took a flash knockout, go back, standing, posture myself, walk around, go recovering, found a cage, preserve yourself, hands up, and all of this, watching. And when I leave that moment, I had that on my mind. My mind was already having the knowledge about the reaction that I needed to have, and I'm feeling now training at CSA with Kirian, a lot of little details, very like Jiu-Jitsu, little details on my standing game on this last month that I'm going there are already changing. I have still a lot to improve, not only for my next fight, but for my career. I think I'm developing, and I get in a good stage of development, technical development now again, that I was kind of stuck, and I feel I'm getting there much better. And for February 18, I will be sharp. I will be sharp. I will be on my weight. I will cut weight smartly, and I will be there really happy, man.
It's a huge opportunity, and man, it seems like the timing's right. You mentioned something really interesting, and something. I mean, so if you're sparring or you're in a fight, just there's a certain amount of pressure, like a certain level of punch. Like if you get hit hard enough, like there's all right, you got me. But when you get hit hard enough, like you mentioned it, you have to take a knee or just like the little flash. There's like a certain level when you get hit, it pisses you off that you don't accept it. That pride thing kicks in. It's pride. And there's like a certain amount of pressure when you get hit, you're pissed. Yep. You're like, no, and you come right. And a lot of guys, you go right into the brawl. And I akin it a lot to sort of like in jiu-jitsu or wrestling, like it's only a scramble to the guy that doesn't know the next move. Yep. Right. And by being strategic, and what you're saying, by just getting your composure, finding your space, find your rhythm again, make sure your feet are nice and solid, because sometimes you don't know what you don't know. Like sometimes you're hit harder than you think. Exactly. So by being able and having that's experience, and it's emotional maturity that a lot of guys don't have, and a lot of fights go the other way. Yeah, because of that.
So now after 20 fights, I pass for bad moments in a cage. Knockdowns, two knockdowns. I get their tag really bad. I get back two or three times. I get some. So 20 fights. 20 fights is a long journey, man. And most of my fights go all 3 rounds. So imagine that I have 20 fights. 20 fights. Of that 20 fights, I think maybe 17 or 16 were all 3 rounds. So maybe I have more time inside a professional cage than people have sparring.
A lot of places don't do it. A lot of guys don't spar. There's gyms that just don't.
I like to spar, but at this age when I spar really smart. Because go there and brawl, I know when I was 12 years old, I was exchanging punches with other kids without fear, right? So I have it on me. I don't scare to get punched on the face. I have a tough shin. I don't give a fuck if they punch me. I will be calm. I will remain in my pocket. If I get tagged, I will be calm to recover. And this is only live that moments on the cage that I give you. And with 36, man, if I try to spar like a crazy, I'm gonna get hurt. I'm gonna get hurt. And if I get hurt, the problem is not, I'm gonna get hurt, and I won't have time. If, like I said, you're gonna have to stop a year because you blow your ACL. I can't stop 1 year. I'm 36 years old. If I have an injury that take me out of the combat for 1 year, it will be really hard before I get back in the level that I am now, you know? So I have to be smart. And I have some fights on my life that I had to cancel 10, 15 days, sometimes 1 week before. And that stuff allowed me to sleep for 2 weeks. Because I get hurt and wasn't a big injuries. At a knee, a strain on the tendon or something like that don't gonna take me out for so long. But I couldn't do shit for a month or two. So for that fight, fuck me up. And that happens why? Then I start to study, and I do that with all my camps and with all my fights, MMA, and I have a record of that. Since I moved to here, every MMA fight that I go, after the fight, no matter the result, I do a balance of what was good on my training camp and what was bad on my training camp. What I can improve on my training camp, what I have to take off my training camp. When I get hurt, how I get hurt, why I get hurt, the situation I get hurt, how I get hurt, why I get hurt. So most of the times when I get hurt, overtraining. You train more. Rodrigo, get the phone. It's your mom probably. So then is for sure overtraining. When my body was like 2 weeks before the fight, I was training hard. I was everything sharp, blah, 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 blah. My body was already broken. So and then I hurt myself kicking someone, my knee straight to the side. To fight Bellator last year in December, I was about to fight in December. 2 weeks before the fight, I was in a shape, good shape, strong. I was sparring with Jake Shields at El Nino. We were exchanging a wrestling takedowns. And he took me down. When he took me down, my foot got stuck on the mat and my knee bent and popped several times. I was like, fuck, now I blew everything, exploded my knee. I don't have a knee anymore. Nothing bad happened, but it was like 4 weeks that it was hard for me to even move myself walking or something, you know. So this camp, I will be really professional with this. I will be really smart on that. I will respect my body perfectly, you know, because that's the camp is going a really good way, and we're going to stick with that.
You made a really good point earlier, and you can tell you've come from a long jiu-jitsu background, because I feel like this is one of the places where you can't bullshit. You can't lie. On the mat, you can say, I'm a white belt, a blue belt, purple, whatever. You're going to go in the sea with those other people on the mat, and your level is going to come out because you're going to see performance. And so being able to look at yourself and reflect honestly. So what Mauricio is talking about here is like classic example of this, like having that maturity and looking strategically at like, how did this fight go? What went good? What went bad? And how can we improve it? And like, this applies everywhere in life. Like, you don't have to be, you know, a pro MMA guy going for like this co-main event type fight to apply this to your life. Like, this is life lesson by like, whenever you have some project, some work, some competitions, something in your life, whether you pass or fail, there's always lessons learned. You can always like post-mortem, like look afterwards and say what went well, what didn't go so well, and what could I do better, and could I have done more?
Exactly.
Like is there one extra hip escape, or like just something, you know, anything.
And this is the true, especially when you win a fight. When you win a fight, you cannot, it's hard and it's a mistake. You look at the win and the W and say, oh, I'm doing fucking good.
I'm Superman. I got this. No one can beat me. No.
It's
a 4-ounce
even
glove.
When you win, even when you perform okay and you win, you will make some mistakes. And that mistake that you made on that fight, that you win, maybe didn't hurt you, maybe didn't interfere on your performance, or maybe didn't interfere on the result. But maybe on the next fight, gonna interfere, gonna bother you, gonna hurt you some way. That same mistake. But if you go there and say, okay, this mistake didn't hurt me this time, but I have to improve this, then it's there. Next one, that little detail that you tag on the fight that you win can prevent you to lose the next.
Yeah, I really like to take notes for myself, even with small things. If I'm in the car, I use the Siri, the voice to text, and I'll just do voice messages. I use the app Evernote. and I take, and you can like put tags on your notes so you can search for it later. They have it on the phone, the iPad, the computer, and these guys aren't paying me. I have like thousands of little scraps I keep in there, and it's, as long as you have like connected to the internet, you have your notes.
Yep.
Because you can just go on the web, and even like an internet cafe, if you just need to get to in a hurry, whatever. And everybody has a phone now, you know.
Yep.
Even if it's just pen and paper, as long as you're keeping organized, you can use little sticky things to categorize things. But I like to write things down.
Yeah, I'm old school too. I like to write it down. I go into the paper, write it down, and put it on my room or put it somewhere, and I can even read that every day. Like a camping, I know, I program, I train, I write some stuff down, and I read that after to really save that. So that's good.
The guys that are saying, you know, oh, I'll do it later, or I'll remember it. How many things do we do in a day like that you don't even think about? Just how many small actions do you do? So for me, like, if it's a project, if it's something I want to improve on, it doesn't become real until I write it down, because, okay, now we can make a plan. Start at the top and then start going from there.
So that's what I was doing. Like, since I moved to here in 2011, I had that psychologist guy that way, Marco, great man, great guy, that he tell me, you're going to plan your life. You're going to have the Mauricio Alonso as a fighter, the Mauricio Alonso as a coach, the Mauricio Alonso as a person. You have 3 different versions of you. What do you want for each version? What's your goals? So as a fighter, my goals are this. As a coach, my goals are this, and that. As a person, me, myself, my goals are this, and this. Okay, you have the goals. But to achieve that goals, you need mini goals.
Like
understand?
What do you call I'm trying to think of a word, like milestones or something. Like,
yes.
Okay, this is the big picture, but then sub 1, 2, 3.
Yes, I need to do this way to get here. So the objective is here, right? So you have a way to get there, have different ways. So you need to find the right way to get there. So are mini conquers. So you need, let's say, I want to be a judge in Brazil. So okay, you are 17 years old, you are going to university, you need to be a judge. So your goal is to be a judge, right? Yes, sir. My goal is to be a judge. To be a judge, you have to first get into a law university in Brazil. After you getting in a law university, you have to do 4 years of law university. After you do 4 years as a law university, you need to act at least 2 years as a lawyer. After you act, and to be a lawyer, you have to make a test to be a lawyer after the university. They call OAB in Brazil, is a National Advocates Association. So to you act and you work as a lawyer in Brazil, you need to be licensed by that corporation in the country. So that's a lot of mini goals. So your goal is that I want to be a judge, but to be there, you have to do this. And these little points has to be really clear. And this is the moments that you really need to work hard to get there. The hard part is the way, it's not the day. The hard part for me is 20 years on the mats. The hard part for me is train my ass off every day. The hard part for me is has to train, has to teach, has to be a father, has to be a husband, has to be a son. I have to be everything together, right? And everything connected bring me for this time, all my experiences, you know. So for whole these years, so a lot of mini goals, including my winnings, including my losses. My losses were my biggest lessons, right? And persevere. That's the word for me. How many times people look at me, you're getting old, 32 or 33, why are you still fighting? Man, if I was not still fighting, I was not having this big chance. If I was just laying down on my couch and waiting. I'm a very believer. I'm believing Jesus and God very, very bad, my Savior. So what's their part? They already did their part. They give me healthy, have a good place to live, and they give me a bigger opportunity of my life. Now it's up to me honor this opportunity. If I lay down on my couch, oh, thank you, God, for the fight. Thank you. I know you're going to help me on the day of the fight. And I'm going to stay laying down here on the couch. And I know on the February 18, you're going to bless me with your victory. No, he won't. Because that's not how it works.
No.
He gave me all tools. He gave me all tools. Everything I need to get there, do my job, use this opportunity, honor this opportunity to his name. The opportunity is there. The job is up to me. A lot of people want things, but they don't work for things. A lot of people want to win, but did they prepare themselves to win? Physically, mentally, spiritually. Why you want to win? Because I want to be on TV and I want to be good. I want to hang out with a lot of girls and a lot of girls want to like me and the bullshit, all that stuff. Some people fight for that and they have motivation doing that. I want to do it. And other people fight for different reasons. Each one fight for a reason. You have to find the reason that you're fighting. You know, Mauricio Alonso, what is the reason that you're fighting? Still fighting with 36 years old. It's because with 36 years old, I didn't feel I fulfill my potential as a fighter. And I'm still going. And I will still go until the day that I say, okay, man, my body cannot take this anymore. I don't have love for this anymore. I don't have aspirations on this shit anymore. Then it's time to hang my gloves. But this shit gonna take a while.
I like the word you use, persevere. It's funny. My father used to always, he pushed me hard as a kid. He would always say, endeavor to persevere. That's why I have like my company, I do all this as Endeavor Media, because my father died when I'm 14. So like the small things you hold on to. So this phrase, like,
so this was a suffering for you that make you a strong man.
Oh yeah. Like,
you know, we take it and say, man, there's a hard stuff to happen in a kid's life, to lose a father. No one expected that, right? But as a father, you have kids?
No, not yet.
So as a father, I'm gonna guarantee you something. He's happy to be there before you, because as a father that I am, the worst thing that I could live in my life is the loss of my son. I can overcome everything. I can tell you, I can overcome every loss. I can overcome injuries. I can overcome relationship disappointments. I can overcome all this bullshit. A loss of a son, I don't know if I was able to overcome. I would have to strain my faith too much, you know.
It's funny that with anything I've done in life up till now, like the one thing I don't want to do would be to disappoint either my dad or my mom. Like the idea of disappointing my parents was always something like very severe to me. So the idea that if I have to stay healthy, I can't do very risky things. I mean, it's not like I live in a bubble or something, but the idea of making my mom sad, like if I were to die, like how would that affect people around me? Yeah. And I can totally understand what you're saying. I mean, like losing a kid, because a kid losing a parent
is a natural process of the life.
Yeah, but the other way around, just
of course,
crushing.
when the kid is young, like your age, like 14, is before teenager, is a complicated age, is a really tough situation, you know. But lost a kid, man, is something that is something hard to overcome, man.
Yeah. Because the idea in your mind, like the thoughts that go through your head, I should have been there. I should have been doing second guessing, like coming to peace with this. Some people never do. It's terrible. It's tragic. And anyone out there who has, condolences, that's the worst thing in the world. Yeah. I see people lose loved ones. Everybody does. Everybody has loss. Everybody encourages
lost friends or lost, but a son is a tough punch. Is a tough strike, man, to hold, to handle. Oh, absolutely. I don't deserve this for my worst enemy. Nope. Thanks God I don't have too many enemies, but the ones that I have, I don't deserve that for them.
No, I don't even people don't like me, do something bad to me. I wish them nothing but the best, because if they're gonna go out of their way to try to hurt me, they have to be so unhappy with their own life that I hope they find peace and they hope they find their own happiness. I can't sit here and think negative about other people.
Exactly.
I don't waste my time on this. Life is a gift.
Yep.
And we have look where we live. Look at the opportunities. This is this is a beautiful life, and
It's a beautiful life, man.
to sit and complain or waste any time on doing anything other than, like you said, honoring and enjoying it and taking the gifts and going to their full potential.
Exactly.
You're living your dream. You have passion for what you're doing, and you're pursuing it to make the best of it. And this is, I think it's an obligation.
Yep.
When you have this passion, you have to do it. You owe it to yourself, and you owe it to have this desire is a big deal.
When one time I listened, I don't remember exactly who told me that, but I remember really clearly what he said. Man, listen, it's like that. It's simple to know when it's time to stop. Stop. Think on your head, okay, I'm done. And then think about yourself 5 or 10 years from now. Do you think you would... I know if I stop fighting now, if I stop it before, I'm quitting, I'm okay, let's say, or last year, or with 15 fights, I don't know, stop it before. I guarantee yourself, when I was hitting my 40 years old, I would be regretting the decision forever. I know that shit.
If you miss this, for sure.
No, not this one, not this fight. I'm telling you, if I quit to fight before, maybe 2 years ago, I didn't even have a dream to be on this card. Let's say, after I lost, after I won 2 years ago, I'd say, okay, I'm done with that. I have like 17 fights or 18 fights, or I'm good with that. I got robbed a few times, and I don't want to be in this fucking game anymore, and this and that, and bullshit. And I stop it. And now, okay, I just want to do jiu-jitsu and coaching and have my jiu-jitsu program. Would be great, yes. But I guarantee you, knowing myself the way I know, 5 years from now, I would be looking at myself and say, you pussy motherfucker. You know? Why you did that shit? Why you stop? I would question myself. And that feeling is something that I know would hurt me more than getting a cage and loss.
Well, that thing wouldn't be here if you stopped, right?
That thing wouldn't be here if I stopped it.
That was last year or this year?
This year.
This year, Dragon House
This year,
185.
Dragon House 185. I defeated a very tough opponent, Justin Baseman.
Yep.
Well-rounded fighter. He was 19-9 when we fought. And the guy is a well-rounded fighter. He knocked out Smith, the guy that used to fight in Strike Force. What's the name of that guy?
Oh, God.
C.K. Smith. He fought Nicky Diaz before this guy. Not Justin, but this is Smith. So, well-rounded fighter. I fought him as a tough opponent. I won by unanimous decision. And before that, I had beaten Mike Person from Nicky Diaz camp. Very, very tough opponent at 185. Lanky, softball, tall guy, taller than me. I'm already tall. But as the sport is developing, I used to be a big 185er, right? Now I'm my average, or maybe getting small to 185. The guys are being big, too big. They're cutting too much weight. And I don't know until the people said, oh, people that take steroids, or people that smoke, or people that do something are cheating, right? Okay. But you register yourself in a weight division that's 185-pounder division. What that means? Well, that means the weight limit for that weight class is 185 pounds. But 90% of the fighters at 185 division, they step on the cage with 200.
A lot go higher than that.
A lot of, like, average, 200.
What Anderson?
Some guys go to 205, 210. They gain 10, 20 pounds in the same next day. So So you are cheating to go to a lower division. What is more cheat? Sometimes the guy takes some little PEDs or something. I'm not defending that, guys. Don't understand me bad. Please. I did several times drug test here in every show that I fought, including Bellator. I'm a clean fighter. But I'm telling about cheating. What means cheating? Cheating means you break some law, right? Basically. So if the law is you fighting at 185 pounds and you enter in a cage to fight with 205 or 210, you are cheating.
Yeah.
You are cheating. So I walk around 200 pounds.
Okay.
When I cut to 185, it's an easy cut for me. I don't suffer at all. Then I lost 200 pounds when I'm fat. I walk around 190, 195, right? So to cut to 170 this time to fight Koshcheck is a little bit a different process. I'm already 7 or 8 weeks before the fight. So when I will be cutting weight a lot this first 3 weeks, a lot. I want to go down to 180 on the next 3 weeks. Why? Because I'm gonna have 4 or 5 weeks of my camp on the weight that I'm gonna fight. Yep. And it's not too far from my weight, like 200 to 170. And of course, when I make 170 on the waiting day, if I try recover to 200 the next day, gonna affect my performance a lot because my body don't gonna fucking understand what is happening. Yeah. So when I fight 185, I go to the cage next day with no more than 190, 195. I gain my 5 or 7 pounds. So I'm a real 185er. You know, so I'm going to 170. So if I'm going to 170, I have to be a real 170. So I cannot try, okay, the last 2 weeks I cut 30 pounds and I fucking die and I make weight. I don't gonna die to make weight. I have to make weight comfortable.
So is Bellator also, I don't know if this is UFC only, but I know that using IV to recover like water after the weigh-in or after the fight is now like, this is off the table. You can't do this in UFC now.
I don't know at Bellator because Bellator are not ruled by the USADA. Bellator are ruled by Athletic Commission that state. So here is a California Athletic Commission. What I know is they're gonna probably weigh me in 1 week before the fight, and I have to be no more than 8% over the weight that I'm gonna fight.
Oh,
that's what I heard. I don't know when this is gonna start.
That's cool.
And this is a really nice way they do it because they are preserving the health of the fighters, the quality of the sport, and the cheating.
Absolutely. And they actually. And I don't know how this applies. Did you see the video they had? I keep mentioning this thing by Big John McCarthy about unified rules changes for the next year, about like the eye poke thing.
Yeah, I heard about some changes. I don't know exactly what it was. I heard about some eye poke. I heard about some knee with the hands on the ground. They will be allowed now because they should be forever. Because man, you're a Muay Thai fighter. Let's say you have a good knees. And then the guy should have taken down you because he's a wrestler. But you're going to defend a takedown. When he's going up, it's a good momentum to attack him or you counter him. So, but if you go up and stand the hand on the ground, you don't have too much attacks. You cannot kick him on the face. You cannot knee him. You just can't punch him.
So
now you can.
We have to like clarify the dates on it, like when it goes into effect. But they're saying for unified rules, a grounded opponent is both hands now, not like this one thing where they game it. Like John Jones, he has like very long limbs. He like wades up to you, and now you can't. Now you can still head kick him. So that's different. The other one. This is more a UFC thing because the glove in Bellator, if you look at the number of finger or eye injuries in Bellator versus UFC, Bellator has like 1 in 10 fights and there's 1 in every event on UFC.
Every fight almost.
Because they do this. Yeah. This is now illegal in MMA. No. Like you can do this to gauge, you can do this, but this towards the head because of the potential eye poke. This is total. They made it like a foul now and they can stop the action and restart.
I got it.
So when it goes into effect, I don't know the exact date, but it's a thing.
I think it's fair. At least going to make the people more aware of this, to pay more attention, to don't do that. Because eye poke can interfere in the result of a fight pretty clear.
And the other thing that they went into some detail on, but I need to clarify as well, and people fighting should clarify this stuff because the rules do take effect some point in 2017. The way fights are supposed to be scored and judged with the 10-point must system. Before they would say it's effective striking, effective grappling, and cage control or ring control. They're saying now the fight should be more just on striking and grappling as opposed to the cage control part because a lot of this has been like very subjective. And if you look at a judge who has like more with one discipline as another as their thing of expertise, somebody that has a very effective guard or is like striking from the bottom or like that's just what they play.
Exactly. Because you have a lot of fighters that they like to walk around the cage and go hitting their opponents. So they are not walking back from the fight. They are doing a different style of fighting. So and then you get a guy that just walk forward and get beat, boom, and then walk forward, get beat. The other guy walk around, sleep, get his angles, more technical.
Yep.
So if you watch that fight, you say, oh, the guy is pressuring. But in the end of the day, he's not pressuring. He's putting some pressure, but because he don't have what else to do.
Yeah, there's been so many decisions where when I watch the fight, and I'll have Joe Rogan and Mike Goldberg on, and you get very excited. And because someone's kind of cheering on the action, you will see it one way.
Yep.
And then if you don't know the rules of UFC, maybe you just watch a lot of like Japanese MMA, how they score the fight on the whole fight as opposed to the individual rounds.
Yes.
You're going to have a very different opinion of that. So now for me, like, I know, okay, the UFC rules are roughly this, but they're judged this way. And if it's Nevada with these judges, like, and then I'll turn the volume on the fight off. If anytime it's close, or like the Gustafsson, John Jones is one where I watch it again without the volume, and I thought, okay, it's closer than I thought.
I think they have to, like you said, unify the rules and for the decisions be more
technical, no,
and the decisions be more clear from state. The same, the judge from Nevada gonna understand the same way the judge from California, from someone else.
Yeah, and everything was a 10-9 or a 10. You know, for the longest time, for years there were never draws and there were never 10-8 rounds.
Yeah,
and now all of a sudden, just randomly they throw them in there, and it's almost. When you see it, you wonder, wait, how was this thing 10-9? But, you know, if you look at like Gray Maynard and Frankie Edgar, and just that first round was a 10-9 round. And I mean, you had Frankie doing back cartwheels getting smashed by Gray Maynard, and it wasn't a 10-8.
Yep.
But then there's other times where I'll watch fights, and there'll be a 10-8 round randomly in the decision, the scorecard, and somebody else will have a 10-9 the other way.
Yeah.
What do you think? What? It's all over the place.
It's all over the place. Is because I still believe most of the judges don't have, even MMA growing a lot in the sport and around the world, the judges don't have experience enough and never lived there before. They never been there in a cage before. I think they should put judges that already fought before, or retired fighters, or someone that really understand about MMA, because they put boxers, judge of box, the same judge that gonna judge a boxing match in California gonna judge MMA, and there's a different sport. So the perspective that they watch is completely different than an MMA expert can see. Yeah. You know what I mean? And that's a different perspective. I think they need to found a perspective for every judge, look for the fights for the same perspective, because that's a perspective stuff. Some judges gonna watch at this perspective, another one gonna change one because he's a grappler, another one gonna think the other fight better because he's a wrestler.
Yeah.
Let's say a guy took me down and stay on top of me for 3 minutes, but I locked 2 or 3 submissions and I punched him on the bottom. He didn't even tag me on the top. For who you gonna give the round? For the guy that take the other opponent down, or for the guy on the ground that attack or 2 or 3 submissions? The guy have to work his ass off to escape, almost get tapped and all this stuff. Or you gonna give the guy that is on top just because he took you down and he's on top on you? That's a different perspective. Understand? They needed to understand more the dimension of MMA for can judge better. And like yesterday, Neil Magny.
Yeah.
Neil Magny. Johnny Hendricks took him down a few times, but it took him down, but he got caught in 2 triangles
and almost armbar too.
So he was on top, but he was in danger. He was about to tap. He was in danger. He was not comfortable on top. He was fighting back. He was scared. So who is better? Who fight better? The one that was on top and defending himself all time, or the one that was on the bottom attacking to finish and to sweep and to tag the other guy? That's needed to change. That decision yesterday on favor to Neil Magny make me happy as a jiu-jitsu fighter.
I had Magny also. I watched that fight, so we did like a pre-fight podcast yesterday. We watched the prelims.
But I guarantee you, if the judging were maybe back then or different judges, more wrestler, they would give the victory to Hendricks because of the takedowns.
A lot of people were booing the decision, calling it controversial, and I'm watching the fight, and I did not find it controversial at all.
Yeah.
First of all, Hendricks came
it's because for who don't understand, they say, oh, the guy's on top, he's winning.
Well, we're being very kind because we're talking about perspective in a lot of the stuff, but we're not talking about the hometown guy. We're not talking about the nationalism. We're not talking about a black guy and a white guy.
Yeah.
We're not like all of these things factor in because there's emotion at play. Well, this is not. I'm not saying any one judge is corrupt or any one judge is bad, but there's always nationalism and just be like this guy's the hometown guy and the champion. There's racism all over the place in Brazil or in the United States. It doesn't matter. The American guy or what about Michael Bisping and
Anderson?
Yeah, Dan Henderson. I didn't think unanimous for Bisping was appropriate.
No,
maybe split, maybe, but
the thing is like that. A lot of people confuse this stuff to split decision. This is another thing that people need to understand better about judging. Let's say you gather scorecards. We have a unanimous decision for the red corner. Okay. But what it means a unanimous decision? Means that all judges gave the fight for that guy. The whole fight. That doesn't mean the judge score all rounds for that person.
Exactly.
That's what people confuse. So they think split decision is when a fighter won a round and lost 2 rounds. No, split decision, guys. I'm going to let you know about it because a lot of you don't know the shit. Split decision. 3 judges. 2 judges scored a fight for one fighter on the red corner. And 1 judge scored the victory for the other corner, for the blue corner. That's a split decision. Don't confuse split decision or unanimous decision with scorecard result. 29-28, 30-37, doesn't matter, the score of the scoreboard. If the 3 judges gave the victory for the same fighter, it's an unanimous decision. If 2 judges gave the victory for one guy and 1 judge to other guy, that is a split decision. If 1 judge give a draw and 2 judges give a victory for the red corner, he is a majority decision. It's not even a split decision. Learn about it because a lot of you like to go on Facebook and cuss and talk a lot of bullshit and you don't know what the fuck you're talking about.
Oh man, the internet's the worst thing. I'll go on the BJJ side and I'll answer some questions sometimes because, a lot of these guys are more calm. They go and they actually train, and there's less fans.
Yes.
But in MMA, the UFC fan community
don't have that magnitude of show.
There's so many people that, like we said before, with perspective, that they don't train, but they like to comment on the fights and say this guy is shit and this guy, man, don't.
So let's say I'm gonna give you an example in Brazil. Vanderlei Silva, man, is one of the best MMA fighters in the history.
He's my favorite.
Right?
I love this guy.
So he demolished people for decades.
Yeah.
And then he lose one fight here, lose another. Vanderlei sucks. Go fuck yourself, man. You don't have a right to tell something about a guy like that.
No.
Because the history that he made, the things that he passed, or him, or like Anderson, or this guy that are going to fight, Josh Koshcheck, all these guys, man, they have a history, needed to be respected. Sometimes it's not because the guy is in a bad phase of his career. The guy don't deserve respect, man. The people have a short memory about it. You can win 1,000 times. If you lost 1 time, you are sucks.
Oh, all of a sudden they say, oh, this person has no chin. They're done. They don't have this. They don't have that. Talk about.
Oh, they're just fighting for money, man. What the fuck you thinking? We work your ass off 15 years. And then you're not in a good stage and they still paying you hundreds of thousands of dollars. You're going to tell, no, I don't feel like a good fighter anymore. I'm not going to fight. Be smart, guys. You have to pay attention to what you do, because be behind a keyboard, to be a keyboard revolutionary is pretty easy. Put your gloves, put your shin guard, the mouthpiece, come here, exchange punches is a different word. Pay attention to what you talk, man.
Yeah, getting hit in the face sucks. That's why you get paid to do it, and it is show business. So I mean, yeah, there is money in it, but there's a difference. You can just talk a bunch of shit and pretend to be Conor McGregor, but to have those skills and to go out there and perform, it's a different thing.
Conor McGregor, a lot of people talk this guy now. He's doing an exposure of the sport,
sure,
very well. As a fighter, I think he's a really good fighter. He's a smart guy.
He's improving.
As a person, I don't know him personally, but what he shows, I don't like too much his style. I'm a very different person. I'm a more quiet guy. I don't like all this trash talk. I'm very respectful. This is the way I get raised. It is the way I am. And people sometimes now with McGregor doing all this trash talk and want to be that, a lot of guys that never did that start to do. So you are changing your posture, you are changing your character because someone else. Pay attention.
I think a lot of camps are realizing the McGregor effect, but Chael Sonnen did it before him. And before that, it was Muhammad Ali, who got it from the Gorgeous George and like old 50s pro wrestling. And they realized that, okay, there's cameras on. You get paid more money if you sell more tickets and more pay-per-view buys. It's show business.
Yep.
It's a part of it.
But it's not all of it.
No. And that he pisses off half of the people. Muhammad Ali pissed off a lot of people. Like Dennis Rodman in basketball pissed off a lot of people. But all of these sports are like flashy now. But the idea that it is show business and it's going to piss off a lot of the purists and probably half of the fans. That's supposed to happen because you want to have one guy, you want to cheer your guy and boo the other guy.
Exactly.
Because for every guy that hates this one, they're going to love him more when he wins.
Exactly. So, one guy that I really admire on his interviews, on his posture, on his way to go to interviews and answer the questions. The best guy on this game for me, George St. Pierre.
I like him. I like him a lot. It's
very
classy.
Serious, classy, educated, So when he go through some trash talk, he maybe talks something back, but in an educated way, in a classy way. I think that's pretty nice, and the guy is a legend, man, and the guy is the real deal. Maybe if he come back to 170, this division going to be demolished again by him. I really believe if he can still find it, if he want to do it, he's still young, he can go back there and kick some ass, man.
If he's got the passion to do it, if he wants to be there, that version of GSP, wow.
I think he wants to be there. I've been reading some interviews about him, and he's a pretty legit in what he talks. He's pretty real when he talks. And he said, man, Dana White don't know fucking me. So he's a sponsor for Under Armour. The UFC is sponsored by Reebok. They are rivals. So for him, how he gonna fight in a show with another rival on him as his sponsor, and he gonna turn the back or get off agreement that he have with Body Armor that probably pay millions for him. So this is not about, it's like he said, man, what do I think I am? A stupid kid, they're gonna listen, he talk that shit and said for him, no, fuck it, they're gonna fight no matter what because I know. No, man, he wanna fight, he has fire to fight, he's there to fight. But the negotiations are another obstacle, man. And people don't understand that. Maybe it's even Dana White one, he come back, but they have this a conflict of interests that avoid his comeback. And I think basically the Reebok deal for UFC sucks.
I think it's a betrayal because they consider themselves to be a promoter, but they're also the sanctioning body. And other combat sports don't have this. Mm-hmm. You don't have it in boxing. Okay, we can say that there's too many titles. It's a mess in boxing, but at the top, they have the opportunity to promote themselves and make more money, and they're not like squeezed by the sponsorship thing in the same way. Yeah. And okay, if you're Dana White, you're going to disagree with this. And if you're some of the fighters that are making, the better money, I mean, it's down to how many fights you have in the UFC or with Reebok. But how are you going to say that, first of all, they consider the fighters independent contractors, right?
Yep.
Then why can't they fight other promotions at the same time? If you're independent, if you're an independent contractor,
You're not an employee, right?
You're not. But what they do is they give you like little things like, oh, here's health insurance, which is a big deal. But Obama did that. Obama gave that too.
Yep.
So I mean, and you can't say that, okay, you're an independent contractor, but you cannot work anywhere else. And you can't promote your fights. You have to promote your fights this way, or this way, and we'd prefer to control
and
your
I
Twitter.
know you have this sponsor that get your back for 5 or 6 years, and now you are in the big spotlight, and fuck you cannot show his brand on a big stage. Yep. Oh, but this guy helped me. He paid for my trainings for several years. I'm here maybe because of one of the reasons this guy believe in me and sponsor me, pay for my trainings, pay for my supplements, pay for my... I don't know. His sponsors, fighters need, athletes in general need that. And you tell that person, no, you're going to fight here with us, but you cannot show your sponsor. But man, no, it's not even like that. I think I believe in the week of the fight, they cannot post nothing without Reebok. If I'm not wrong. It's like the Olympic Games.
Yeah.
The Olympic Games, the guys most of the time training by themselves, pay by their pocket, work their ass off to be an Olympic. And there, the sponsor that go with them during 4 years cannot be exposed in Olympic Games. Because the sponsor that are allowed to be exposed in Olympic Games, like McDonald's, Coca-Cola, all this, they pay billions for the international Olympic Committee. There is a bunch of millionaires, crooks, corrupts, motherfuckers. They don't give a fuck for the athletes. They want to go there and have their luxurious places, their luxury suites, to be there on the Olympics, in a luxury place, in the best spots on the field, in the best spots on that, and don't move a fucking finger for the sport. Bunch of pussies, millionaires, corrupt, crooks, motherfuckers.
It's almost as bad as FIFA. Like,
yes. Imagine in Brazil, FIFA and Brazilian government working together. How many billions the son of a bitch don't stole from the people together?
Oh yeah, and at the last minute, like they had the thing over. They were supposed to be no alcohol, and they brought that in.
Yep.
The tax dollars, that the money that comes from there is not taxed, so Brazil got nothing for it.
Yeah.
They spent billions bringing this stadium to Manaus, I think.
Yeah.
And they didn't even bring it from Brazil. They got the materials from Portugal.
No, another thing, they built a fucking stadium for 60,000 people in a state, in a place don't have teams to play on that shit.
Now it's just you have to pay now to mow the damn lawn.
Yep.
You're doing nothing with it.
No, probably in a few years after all this stuff, in a few years that's going to be destroyed. They're going to demolish or going to be abandoned there and going to be grass all over and the useless.
Well, did you hear like the process to build this thing? They instead of like getting the materials from domestically, because like there's no wood in Brazil. They go and the companies be with FIFA and whoever the construction company that worked with Brazil to do this thing, they got the materials from Portugal. They ship it across the ocean and then up the Amazon into Manaus.
So they made money for
everyone on this process get money from the government. Some people more, some people less. And how that works in Brazil, you're going to do that service for me. I'm the government and I'm the contractor from the government. I want to buy something for you. How much it costs, Clinton? 10.
Okay, you're going to give me a receipt of 100.
Yep. And then where's the rest of it go?
Go for the politicians. Go for the other constructors that are paying a shitty material, or say, you're gonna put on your receipt, on my receipt, that I'm buying a Class A material.
You're gonna give me the stuff
You're
from
gonna
China.
give me the shit with sand. They're gonna demolish in 2 years. So that happens in Brazil every single day, and probably is happening now while we have this conversation, because the Brazilian politicians are a bunch of motherfuckers too, man.
Yeah, the people are finally standing up and saying something. The last couple of years,
Yeah.
It's good. There is social unrest. You know, here we have what.
But in the end of the day, I believe that's the shit that is so dirty, so corrupted, that even the ones that are hunting the corrupts are corrupt. So you need a big cleansing there, and I need to restructure with the new people, because for decades and decades in Brazil, the power are on the hands of the same people, same families, same parties, same shit, and they build a corruption system that is really hard to break, because that's in all levels, man. This is from the police officer to the president of the Senate. So there's no way back. They have to restructure everything. Brazil is dirty on the shit. I'm really sorry to be a Brazilian and have to see a country like mine with a really hard worker people, with a really decent people, the people that are no lazy to work. They work their ass off every fucking day, and they have to live and support politicians that only give a bad retribution for their vote. A bad retribution with a shitty hospitals, with a shitty education system, with a shitty a job promotion. So everything sucks, and they should die painfully.
Man, I've been to a Brazilian hospital, the public one.
Yep.
And the whole time I'm thinking, I kept saying, just
maybe better I die.
I wanted to pay for the private one. I'm like,
Yeah.
I'm not a citizen. I have my residency there, but I'm not a citizen. I am fine to pay the extra money to go to the good one. There was a power outage 2 times when I had bad food poisoning there a few years ago. I'm on an IV with, what the hell is it? Like the antibiotics with sugar, what are the saline? Glucose. And man, I felt I was like dead. I lost so much weight, and it was like Christmas 2 years ago. Man. So between Christmas and New Year's,
and that's why you see that is daily. You see people in Brazil in the public hospitals dying on the walls, man. The people need a ICU to survive. They throw them on the walls, and no, we don't have it. Throw them there. No doctors, no nothing. The people dying on the ground, man. That's nasty, and that's a homicide. The politicians commit daily thousands of homicides in Brazil. They are murders. With the corruption and with the lack of structure in the hospitals, they are murders. The same way all politicians in the poor countries that have a lot of money and they are corrupt, they are murders. They are murders with the pen. They are murders with their own hands. They don't need to pull a trigger to kill someone because they are cowards. They send someone to do it in a war, in the stupid bullshit that they do.
I feel like here there is obviously a big divide amongst the haves and the have-nots, and you have more people in these groups that are trying to get the 2 big parties out and get independence in. And I feel the people that have the education and the ability to get involved with the politics locally and to actually make a change, they don't give a shit because materialism is like idolized.
Yep.
People care about personal gain because when you have this system, it's capitalism. And with capitalism in its purest form, the idea is if I'm not directly helping myself, I'm directly hurting myself. Yep. So this, they're just like conditioned to self-interest.
And it's like that. When a guy go put himself in a campaign to be a politician, no matter what level he will be, let's say every 10 motherfuckers like that, maybe one have that thought, man, maybe I can change something. The other ones, man, the 90%, they are like that. Man, if I get elected, I can make a scheme here, I can make another scheme there, I'm going to have open doors to fucking take this money here and put, So their mentality before they get elected are already criminal. Yep. They are criminals already. So, and then when they get elected, they are criminals with power. Yeah. And then when we have criminals with power is when we have a disgraced nation.
Yeah, we're working on catching up.
Yeah.
The last independent that actually became president of the United States was George Washington. Yeah. So since then, it's been a big political party, backing him and, year after year, election after election, corporations.
Yeah, so here I didn't about this American campaign, for what I heard, I cannot, Trump is good or Trump is bad or Hillary is good or Hillary, because I didn't live all my life here. I don't know, basically. I know some facts about they were talking about, but I don't know their whole history, But what I heard for both sides are like that. Both of them are fucking stupid. So Hillary is a fucking corrupt and Trump is a fucking crazy racist and wanna maybe do some bullshit. That's what I heard from the Americans. It's not my opinion. I don't know. I cannot expel my opinion here because I don't have knowledge enough, and I would be a hypocrite. I don't like Trump or I don't like Hillary. I don't give a fuck for them. But what I heard from the American people is we are fucked up both ways, man. So then I say, man, maybe it looks like something similar to Brazil in America now.
You know what the difference is? People believe that it's democracy, and I'll get backlash on this. I don't really give a shit. USA is a rich country.
Yep.
We have prosperity. So people look the other way.
Yep.
And it's very easy. I got mine.
Yep.
Fuck them.
Yep.
why do I have to help them? Why do I have to help them? I'm like, wait. Don't you understand that if you go outside and it's safe and the police do their job and the firefighters do their job and you got nice roads and I can stop at a red light in the city and no one's going to carjack me. There's fucking value in that. And that doesn't happen by itself. So like, the education of the people, cultivating this a place that's livable for the next generation. I believe in public health programs because without them, I mean, we spend more in healthcare in the United States and we don't have public healthcare.
I know.
Than every other country.
That's something that scared me when I moved to here. Fuck, if I get hurt, I don't have insurance, what the fuck am I gonna do? They're gonna take my pants off. I have to pay everything.
We pay more because we give it for the very, very poor and the very, very old, right?
Yeah.
Medicare and Medicaid, right?
Medical,
the California one, right? So so as a country, government, we pay as taxpayers more for healthcare and we don't get it than other countries where you do get it, like UK, Sweden, places like this. Brazil, you have it. It's weird. It's more just corruption.
And in Brazil, it's corruption the same way. So in Brazil, you have different taxes, right? So you have a car, you pay every year like a registration here, but much more. You have a house, you have to pay tax property every year, like here.
Yep.
You have your car, now you have a few years ago, some time ago, maybe 10, I don't know how many years, long time ago, they have the IPVA. It's a tax that you pay for the government preserve the roads on the country. You pay an extra tax, you have that. And now on this fucking country, the only decent roads and highways and freeways that you can get are with tolls for private companies. And you are still paying the IPVA tax to keep the roads that you pay toll to work good. So we are fucked up twice.
Yeah, this is common. You don't even know what you're paying anymore here. You go through and they make you get the income tax refund and you're paying for shit you don't even I think we wind up losing like 55 or 60% of our money in the US without even really knowing where it goes.
Yep.
So by the time everything is all said and done, and then when you're trying to get a tax refund at the end of the year, they make it seam like they're doing you some big service, like they're giving you money.
No, they don't
that's
give
your money.
money. That's my money.
That was my. What are you talking about? I did all this stuff, and
so the thing is, they took money from me that was mine. They just giving me back. So they took money from me, right? They are giving my money back.
No, they want there's The Walking Dead. He goes, "Here's what I just did. I just put my dick in your mouth, and you thank me for it."
Exactly.
That's what they did.
Exactly. That's what they do. They stick you in your ass, and you have to say thank you.
Oh, thank you. Next time too.
Next time, put a Vaseline list, motherfucker.
Exactly.
That's terrible. Pô, Clinton, thank you so much, man. It was really nice talking to you, brother.
All right, next time we got to talk about some Ryan Gracie back in the day stories.
Well, we can talk a little about now. So let's resume here, man. I started to train in 1997, February 1997 with Ryan Gracie. My first jiu-jitsu training was with him. And I graduated black belt in December 2003. So I'm a black belt about 14 years. And third degree, going to my fourth. I have several state championships under my belt in São Paulo in all belts, blue belt, purple, brown, and black. Third place in the nationals in Brazil and IBJJF won, and several different tournaments in Brazil. And then in 2007, a little bit before Ryan passed away, I moved to Curitiba. So then I started to train at Killer Bees with Anderson Silva and Rodrigo Vidal. So I trained 3.5 years there with them. And I have the opportunity to be part of Anderson camp for Dan Henderson fight, for Nate McQuarrie fight, for the guy that didn't make weight. What's his name, the jiu-jitsu guy? That he got in a triangle. He got him in a triangle. Jeremy something. I don't know. So for 3 or 4 camps, I was there in Curitiba participating in his camp. That was a really very, very, very nice experience for me on that stuff. And then I moved to here in 2011. 2011, they won a Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu black belt that speak English to start to teach at Vertex Academy. That's where we are now, just changed the name. And I have my Jiu-Jitsu program here about 6 years. I started here with 7 students, and now I have 200 students. And the way that I get raised with Ryan was intense, right, man? Me and my friends, we are Like a soldiers, really. So back then, when you were entering a jiu-jitsu team, you were getting to a gang, actually, basically. You were getting to a really tight fraternity. And we were really close, we still really close, me and my friends from Ryan Gracie that are training together. A lot of guys that came after he dies and, Ryan Gracie team and this and that, black belt, Ryan Gracie and this and that. These guys don't even barely train with him. They never saw him. They never meet him. And I guarantee you 90% of them would not support the pressure that we did to train in him. He was a really intense person, intense coach, intense in everything that the guy did. And so we are very close to the group. Under him, when he was alive, I think he graduated maybe 12 black belts only. I'm one of them. And I think I'm one of 2 or 3 guys in the whole everybody that went for the white belt to black belt with him. I think it's me, Gabriel Vela, Thiago Vela, I don't remember who else. A lot of guys like Fabio Leopoldo get a black belt with him, but he showed up at gym at blue belt. Rodrigo Boni também was a blue belt before from another place. They were all get a black belt under him for several years, like Fabio, Rodrigo, they trained together 10 years. But from white belt to black belt under him, all belts on his hands is me and more 3 or 4 guys that I cannot guarantee exactly who it is. Japonês, Guilherme, me, Guilherme, Gabriel, Thiago, and somebody else. So to get a black belt under him is because you are a fucking badass. There is no one pussy a black belt under him that he gave by his hands a black belt. There is no one.
So out of the Gracie family, I think him and Half have the most sort of strong reputation, or like their reputations precede them the most.
Yes, and that's it. And maybe worse than you heard about.
I know Half. I started with Half, and I like him very much, man. I get along.
Ralph is that, man. To imagine, Ryan was he was a scary person.
Very intense.
Very intense. And he feared Ralph, to have idea. He told him one time, the only motherfucker that I think is worth is my brother Ralph. Falei, porra, Ryan, yeah.
What I know from Half, and maybe this is true about Ryan, is like if they're showing a technique and you do it correctly, they'll say, okay, good, they just walk around. But if you do it correctly and aggressive as hell, then they like it. They like to see you go hard.
Yes, but what I tell you is, he's intense to teach. He was the kind of guy, okay, he showed the thing for you. 1 time, 2 times, 3 times. Do you understand? Yes, sir. But when then you go there and do wrong, he don't gonna come to you and say, oh man, come on, bro. You can do better. What the fuck you doing, man? I showed this shit for you 5 times. What the fuck you doing this shit? Man, okay, coach, do it again. But I like it that way, man. I trained him 11 years. If I tell, oh, that was sucks, no, that was good. That's what built me a tough person. So there's no, okay, he was intense. He was aggressive, and he was intense. And I'm a man that I am today because I trained him. And when everybody that were training with him back in the day, me and my partners, there's no one weak there. They're strong men with conviction, the decisions that we made in our life to be fighting. And that's what we learned with him. And that's why a lot of us that make a living fighting, make a living really nice. Right? Have a nice jiu-jitsu programs. They are good, renowned fighters and good coaches. So he built a thing with us that is impossible for someone to build again. And I'm really glad, I'm really proud to came from this lineage. And my students always talk, oh, coach, the same thing. Hey, you were intense, you were this. Of course, man, I don't want a pussy here. I don't want one guy that's going to come here, look at me and say, oh, I'm kind of tired, maybe I need to stop. But fuck you, I'm going to throw up out of the mats and go back to the shit training, Yeah. That's the intensity that he has, I have, my friends have, and works.
I'm harder than the other guys at my gym. I teach the 6:30 a.m. class, and the first thing I'll say, if we have a new guy in there, the guys that are with me for years, they're there for years, they know. I know it's cold. I know you're tired. I do not give a shit. You decided to come here. You got out of bed, start running. That's the last time we're going to talk about it.
Yeah.
That's it. Or everybody, one person goes off the mat to go get water by himself. Nope. Everybody does push-ups until you're done. That's team building, man.
Yeah.
It's the things the small things that people do, like, oh, I'm going to take a break on this one. Okay. Once. But then if this is a repeated thing, you're learning that. You're training to quit.
Yep.
This is like, are you going to get up and fight? You're just going to lay there and bleed. There's always two options. And I always want to kind of stress to my guys, when you're doing anything in life, you're laying there, you're having a hard day, whatever, you're getting past, you're tired, but could you do more? Yeah. One more hip escape, like just frame. Could you just hip escape one
more upa, and that's it.
That's it.
One more round. Always.
Could I do more? And just, I don't want to just push it to them, to push to them to make class hard. Yeah. I want them to question themselves. I want them to say, no, but could I have done more? Because it applies everywhere in life, and it builds character. You got to suffer, because you can't.
In jiu-jitsu, man, I'm going to teach you something on the life that few things going to teach you. No matter how worse and how bad the situation is, if you keep calm, you can overcome that adversity. That's a life lesson, because the life going to beat you down many times. And jiu-jitsu, you're going to learn how to get being smashed there and feel comfortable. For somehow you are there, hanging there, until you found a way to escape from that bad, terrible position for some a little bit better position, for a little bit better, until you adjust yourself again and get into a fight and get a good position. And life is like that. The life gonna be smashing you. If you panic, you will fall. You will haven't escape anymore. But you get smashed. You close yourself there, protect the lapel here, hip escape there a little bit. Boom, I'm out of the trouble, And jiu-jitsu teaches that, and there's a really mental program for kids that I use a lot with kids. I talk about this with kids a lot, and for parents also. Because as a mental program, you fail, you go again. Nobody is successful in this life, never fail. Nobody is successful in this life, never lost. Nobody is successful in this life, never try and miss it. All of them lost, all of them fail, all of them miss it. All of us do it. So to be there is the ones that are going to quit or not quit. Are you going to persevere or you don't going to persevere? I like to persevere.
Yeah, I like being able to say I earned those meals. I don't like to leave the academy or wherever I am going half-ass.
No,
because you feel it when you go home and you're like, man, I really did.
I could do better. Yeah, Don't let for tomorrow what I can do good today, man.
Yeah, and every situation in life can be parallel to your first day of jiu-jitsu. You're mounted, somebody's on top of you, you're out of your element. No matter what you thought about how tough or strong or big or great your parents told you in your whole life, when you're flat on your back, you don't know what you're doing, stop, breathe, assess the situation, and think, what can I do to make it 1% better?
Yep.
And there, an UPA or just some problem in life, there's a parallel, and it can be applied everywhere.
Exactly, man. Exactly, my friend. So you asked for a higher history. I'm going to tell you one good one. So
nice.
I was with him and Eduardo Pamplona. Eduardo Pamplona is a good friend of mine. He fought on Strike Force before. He's a very good fighter, Muay Thai guy. He was my first Muay Thai coach. And he was fighting MMA show in a nightclub in São Paulo. And we were there, me, Ryan on his corner. And Paulo Zorello is a president of ISCA or something like that from Muay Thai and kickboxing in Brazil. And he was the promoter of the show. And Ryan was with half of his body, man, inside the ring, And when he didn't like nobody come and put a hand on him, he didn't like that. Nothing. Like, oh, boom, we touch him. For some reason, he didn't like that shit. And when I saw this guy coming to pick him off the ring, this Paulo Zorello, man, when I saw he walking, I stopped him and said, don't do this, bro. Don't touch him, man. Don't do it. Trying to be good with him. I was not trying to be mad. I was trying to save him, man. And no, he cannot be there. And he grabbed Ryan's shoulder. I step back and I say, now he gonna get bad. He looks over the guy, you don't put your fucking hand on me, you motherfucker. Get the fuck out of here. The guy, no, you cannot stay in the ring. Fuck you, but don't touch me and this and that. Then he left. And he's still coaching. Man, 30 seconds after, he went and again in the ring. Yeah, come on, Eduardo, take this motherfucking down. Rah, rah, rah. Porra, man, for the second time, he went to get it. I just stepped back the second time. I stepped back.
Now you learn.
Man, I stepped back, and the guy touching him. Man, when he touching him, he looked and threw an elbow on this guy. In the middle of the fight. The fight rolling there, and his elbow on the guy here, and the guy fall on the crowd. Fall knocked out, like boom. Was a couple, one girl holding the guy on one arm, and the other guy holding the guy, and the guy spread like fuck, and the fight's still going, and we come on, that crazy stuff. Man, look at this guy, bro.
Oh my God.
Okay, but I know that would happen. I knew him. I was 11 years with him. I know what this is his reactions. I know that would happen, and I talked to the guy, don't do that shit, man. He did. And then in the locker room, after the fight or stuff, was me, Eduardo, Ryan, Zorello, and Francisco Veras. Veras is a very good Muay Thai coach. I trained him too. Very nice guy, my friend. But back then, we didn't know each other by that time. And then I was in the locker room, and then Ryan, oh man, fuck Zorello, you should touch me. I talk with you, don't put your hand on me. No, but I'm sorry, this and that. And then Veras looked to him and said, okay, Ryan, okay. But you know you're wrong, right? He looked at him and, who the fuck are you, man? I'm gonna beat your ass up and I'm gonna beat him again. I like, man, this guy is crazy, brother. I like, fuck, man. And then I look, okay, man. Then I know what's all that scenario already. I leave it there forever. And then I was just kind of laughing. And I mean, he was getting calm. What the fuck he would talk that shit for him? Don't talk. Let him talk and let him go, man. I knew him, And then same night we left and we went for a nightclub. Me, him, to Eduardo celebrate the stuff. And then he was entering on the club and he took off the VIP chain and started to get in with us. And then one security put a hand on his chest. I like, puta, gonna start the shit again.
Oh no.
Boom! The guy, what the fuck you talking about? No, you cannot go. If you know who you're talking with, motherfucker. Yes, I know you, Ryan Gracie, and this and that. And the guy, man, when he told that, I already knew. I stepped back and I and start shit. Then he beat the guy on the front of the nightclub, the bouncer. And then he beat the guy, and the chief make the guy go home. No, get the fuck out of here. Go home. Do you need work today anymore? Come on, Ryan, let's go. Then we enter on the place. And then I was there, and when I look at, because I went party with my friends, but I never like to drink, to get drunk. I don't like alcohol. I don't like it. It's not my thing. So everybody, and then he already realized I was always aware, and I realized he kind of arguing with someone. Then I green him, like, come on, Ryan, let's come get here. Come on, take him off. Then he looked at me, what the fuck you doing? Now I have to go there and beat this guy. But what? Why are you gonna do that? I don't give a fuck. I have to go there and beat him. If you don't go there, beat him, I'm gonna beat you up. Fuck. What you gonna do, man? And then I said, I think I have a psychologist thoughts in my mind. I'm a kind of a good psychologist. And then I look at the situation, look at the poor guy. I feel like, man, I'm gonna beat this guy. I can't do that shit. It's not part of me. I like to fight, but I like to fight, real fight. Okay. And then I thought, I know what I'm gonna do. I put on myself, I thought, okay. Then I run to the guy, and I start to run to him and look at him and tell this like this. Ryan was on my back. And I look at him, like, get the fuck out of here, motherfucker. The guy look at me, run. And I kind of run through him, and I try to grab him and pretend I was, fuck you. And then the guy left, and and then I get back, and why you didn't slap him on the face? For man, you don't understand it. What? I look at him and I told, man, you know who you are messing with? No, you are messing with Ryan Gracie, gonna fucking kill. Oh my God. And he runs. He look at me, really? Falei, yes, that's okay. Falei, good, man, that's okay. It was a nice stuff. But why I would be the guy, But he was intense, and I don't judge him for that. He make his way. A lot of people like to judge him, judge that, and I don't give a fuck. I'm his black belt, proud, honor, and the guys that a lot of black belts that are here today and world champions and this and that, man, don't handle a slap on their face, man. On my generation didn't have that. To be a black belt in jiu-jitsu, you have to know how to fight another man for real. That makes you a black belt. I know a lot of black belts independent of weight division, heavy, small, big, light. You hit the foot on the ground, what the fuck? Ooh, they cry, man. So my generation, my team, the way I get raised, I didn't learn that. I learned to, if I fucking have to die, I'm going to die fighting.
Yeah, that's the difference. The ones that are going kind of, pure sport now. And
yeah,
that's not where it came from.
No.
And I'm not knocking these guys. Like, there's some beautiful technique and they're very tough and everything, but I think it's and instead of or.
The guys go to, they are good competitors. They are great competitors, but they are not great fighters. They are different. To be a great competitor and a great fighter, a fighter is a man that put himself in a kind of challenge, to do that. And you have, like Master Robson Gracie, always talk, to do vale tudo, MMA. You have to be a man of conviction. If you have question about it, don't do it.
Yeah, that's something you really want to be passionate about. Otherwise, go home.
Yeah.
Do something else. There's lots of great jobs out there.
Yes.
There's plenty of good colleges.
Regular jobs have a lot. This kind of crazy job, just a few. Just for a few.
Yeah, this is you're wired for it or you're not, and it's no knock if someone's not wired for it, but don't do it.
Don't do it. Don't do it.
I think that's good advice for the world. Man, it's been a pleasure and honor, man.
My pleasure, man. Thank you so much, Clint. I appreciate it, man. And I always see you competing, always tough and beating people. I hope I never have to compete in jiu-jitsu.
Oh, they try to match us up. I said, no, but I'm going to see how he's doing for the podcast. It's a good idea. Thank you.
Okay, yeah, that's cool, man. Thank you so much, my pleasure, man. And your podcast is pretty nice. I've been watching a few episodes. It's pretty nice and
cool,
fun to watch. I hope the people like our here. And you owe me a visit on my podcast with my student Rassan. We have a Jits podcast, Jitscast.
Hell yeah.
So we do it here at the gym also, and I'm going to invite you to be part of it anytime. It's going to be my pleasure, man.
Likewise, man. I'm very happy to. I'd be glad to, and I'll be at the fights. I'll see you probably the next time. We'll be at the weigh-in for Bellator.
Awesome. It's going to be fun.
Hell yeah. Well, congratulations.
Happy New Year, my friend. Thank you for the space. God bless you this year on your journey, fighting, competing, your teaching, your business, everything. I wish the best for you, my brother.
Likewise, man. God bless.
Appreciate it.
Go kill it in Bellator.
Thank you, people. Thank you. Watch this guy. Legit. Thank you for the space. And February 18, we're going to be ready to face a good challenge and big challenge, motivating myself a lot. And I wish you enjoyed the fights. Thank you.
You got sponsors, plugs on?
Yes, man. I have a sponsor that two guys are really important for me. That's Vulcan. Vulcan sponsored me forever, man. I was watching my fights back in 2007, like 9 years ago. I was with Vulcan shorts and Vulcan geese. These guys are amazing with me. They are always getting my back with everything, every equipment that I need in every situation for several decades or many long time. And I have Strike First Nutrition as a very, very quality supplements that's in Pleasant Hill. He's a good guy, Alex. He owns the place and Natural Life Foods and Strike First. So the best quality in supplements and natural supplements and natural life foods, vitamins, supplements. He's really legit. StrikeFirst.com or naturallifefoods.com. Go there and they have a bunch of stuff really in a good price and in a good quality. Have people that don't talk that about their sponsors because they can get a sponsor without something with quality. I can talk for the people that I know. Go to Strike First and buy their products because you're going to be happy and the results are good and the quality is legit. I won't be bothered myself to advertise a good quality product like that.
Awesome, man. Thanks again for coming through. Happy New Year to everybody out there.
Happy New Year, guys. God bless you. And let's fight a lot in 2017.
Be good to each other.